Defense pick up one touchdown. Kick game pick up one touchdown. We got this game won.
Welcome back to Skuchdown Report, an all-inclusive deep dive into the inner workings of the Chase Estates Fantasy Football League. I'm your host, Austin, aka A-Dub, and today I have two returning guests. The first gentleman I have here is, like I said before, probably the most traveled man in our group. A handsome gentleman from the deep south, known none other than Tennessee Tom. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Of course. Welcome in. And the second gentleman I have here is the not number 2, not number 3, but the number 1 hairline in our group chat. Some may call him Sun-Kissed, some may call him Big Nug, but today we're going to call him Nugget. Welcome into the pod, Nug.
Gentlemen, what's happening?
Welcome into the podcast. Let me get over the screen.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Let me get you guys over here to this screen. All right, cool.
I like Nug. I've never thought about that nickname.
What's
I start calling
Big Nug? I like
Nug. Let's not.
Nug
not
Daddy?
say we do.
There's a few. Okay, so I do have one little thing I wrote down here in my notes application, which I was going to do with Maddie Will and Nico, but they didn't actually ever make the podcast, so I'm not going to save it for them. I'm going to save it for you guys. So this is the icebreaker I have for you today. The first one, who wants the first icebreaker, Nugget or Tom?
Let's hear it. Just go for it.
Okay, Nugget, can you name me 5 white skill position players that have never played for the New England Patriots?
Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
Let's see. Scotty Miller.
Okay. Keeping it current.
Let's see. Blonde hair on the Cowboys. Slot receiver.
He just retired.
Yep.
You can do retired. Yeah, that's fine.
Cole Beasley.
Who?
Did you say Cole Beasley? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's what he was trying to say.
No, that actually was not the guy I was thinking of. But
Okay,
yep,
that's
Cole
3.
Beasley.
That's 3. It's a group effort. I feel it.
Let's see.
Dude, the guy who ran over Devontae Adams last night in the last play of the game.
Hunter Renfro. Okay, Tom helping him out. I like it. Can Nugget get a 5th?
I am. I don't know.
Okay,
There aren't many.
I'll throw a few names out here that will surprise you. But we got Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, I was thinking wide receivers, not
Mike Allstott was another one.
Wait, what? It was like ever?
Yeah, I said skill position players. Yeah,
I'm thinking like playing this year.
I don't even know if there are 5 this current season. I'm trying.
4 of them.
There's a dude on the Colts, which we'll talk about later in my waiver wire pickups. I forget his name, but the second wide receiver from the Colts. He's one of them.
Does a fullback count as a skill position? Because then
I guess so.
Kyle Jusnick.
Yeah, there you go. There's another one. Yep. I should have specified wide receivers because there's not a lot of white wide receivers. And interestingly enough, I don't think the Patriots have 1 white wide receiver this year.
Oh, Braxton Berrios.
Okay, there we go. I like it. All right, so
Berrios
great job there.
He played for the Jets, but he played for the Patriots.
So the next icebreaker I have is for both of you, but we'll lean into Tom on this one. So I'm gonna list a whole bunch of rom-coms, right? Some of my favorites out there, and we're gonna rank these in tiers. So you don't necessarily have to rank them in order. We're gonna go S tier, which is like cream of the crop, best rom-coms out. A tier is like it's a good movie, but it's not the best. B tier is like if it's on, you watch it. C tier is it's down there. D tier, trash tier. Okay, I'm gonna throw some. S tier. S tier is like cream of the crop, best rom-coms of all time.
What's S stand for? Like
it just I don't know, better than A. Superior.
Super.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
I need to know the details.
Yeah. If I miss any, if I miss any good ones, feel free to throw them out. But these are the ones that I pulled up. That, like I said, this was for Maddie Will and Nico, so I was leaning into like movies that Maddie Will might like. But okay, so here we go. The first one is It Takes Two.
I gotta be honest. I've never seen that.
Amanda Butkus steps up to the plate. That's the one with Lindsay Lohan, where she's the twin. Okay. Sorry, maybe that's outside. That's an S tier for me. That was one of my childhood favorites, up there with what's that movie with Sinbad, First Kid, and Jingle All the Way. Great movie. Okay, next one I have is Hitch.
Oh, that's a Nugget.
Yeah, Nugget. How do we feel about Hitch?
Hitch. Oh, that's got. What was the one below S tier?
A tier.
A tier.
So it's going to go
That's gotta be-
S, A, B, C, D.
I can't even know 4 or 5 rom coms.
Oh, you're going to know some
Never
of
mind
these.
4 or 5 tiers.
Where are you putting Hitch, though?
Hitch has got to be in like the A or the B.
Okay, fair enough. We'll put it in lower A, upper B for right now. Next one I have is... Me and Tom were talking about this movie earlier. I'm sorry, go ahead, Tom.
Hitch is definitely A tier. That's like a one that guys like. You know, Kevin James is great in that. Everyone loves those characters there.
Whoever the girl is in that is a smoke show, too. I forget her name. But...
yeah. You always love Big Willie, though.
Yeah, you got to.
Great dynamic between Kevin James and Will Smith in that movie. Hard not to like.
Next one I have is 40-Year-Old Virgin.
God, dude, that might be above S tier.
That's it. I was saying that's an S tier.
That's the definition of S tier right there, right? Okay, I love it.
Trombone.
The next one I have after that is Knocked Up.
Ooh.
That's between A and S.
I love Knocked Up.
I think it's like B tier.
Wow. Hater.
Okay.
I think like Knocked Up was like when they started that crew, that whole
yeah.
They like went to the well one too many times with that same crew of Paul Rudd and everybody.
It's really not even that great a movie. It's more so just a classic for me. Really, Zack and what's the movie? Zack and whatever make a porno. That's one of those terrible movies. That's a good movie, but I wouldn't consider that a rom-com.
Yeah, that's like a C.
Yeah.
For me.
Next one I have is Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
That's S. That's gonna be S.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
I'm with Tom on that one. S definitely.
Gretchen threw that one in there. I appreciate her. I was failing to come up with a good rom-com. She threw that one in there. Okay, next one I have is Meet the Parents.
Ooh, I mean that's up there too. That's
an A tier.
And like predates the kind of raunchy Judd Apatow like era. Little bit more of like a family appropriate rom-com.
I love Meet the Parents. That's one of my favorites, dude. I have breast fucker. Can you milk me? That's like one of my favorite movies.
No, I have nipples, Greg.
Okay. All right. So a lot of S tiers, a lot of A tiers. I love it.
Wasn't it Takes Two is the Olsen twins, right?
No, that was yes. I'm sorry. That's one with the No. Not the Olsen twins. It's Lindsay Lohan, and she's playing two twins.
No, you're thinking of Parent Trap.
Oh, I am thinking of Parent Trap.
Yeah,
come on.
I'm sorry. Parent Trap's a great movie.
That makes sense.
My daughter just watched it 12 times in a row.
I'm glad you're keeping her up to date with classics because that's a great movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, this next one is a great movie, and I'm hoping Tom puts this higher than Nugget, but I have 10 Things I Hate About You.
With Heath Ledger, right?
Oh, yeah. That's Heath Ledger, baby. That's prime Heath Ledger right there.
Yeah, it's like, what's that, like 96 or 7?
Mm-hmm. Nugget, do you know which movie we're talking about?
I can honestly say I've never seen it.
Okay. It's a great movie. You should watch it. I'm sure Nina would appreciate that.
This is 99.
It's a good watch.
A very young Joseph Gordon-Levitt in that movie.
Yes, there is. He's the nerd in that.
Know some great movies?
Star Wars. Do you guys remember the poll I put out where I was like, name me your top 10 movies of all time? How did you feel about my top 10? Do you even remember what it was?
I'm pretty sure I was pretty disappointed in like half the list.
Because I didn't put any Star Wars on there.
But you did have some some hits though.
Like Rush Hour 2 is a top tier movie.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, dude. It's one of the greatest movies of all time.
What movie that's similar to that I think is so good? Blue Streak with Martin Lawrence.
I was just gonna say that.
Watch that movie like once a week.
I love that movie.
Great movie.
Underrated comedy.
Martin Lawrence.
Diamond in the Vent.
Martin Lawrence is a great actor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wildly underrated comedian.
For sure. Okay. Getting back to rom-coms though, I do have the next one here is 50 First Dates.
That's a Matty Will movie.
Yeah, that's why I put it on there.
I would say that's between an A and a B for me.
Okay. Yeah, it's not too high up there for me, but I was hoping to get Matty Will S tier graded on there. We'll see how he feels about it afterwards.
I do love me some Adam Sandler movies though.
Okay, after that I have Juno. Getting a little deep here.
Juno's kind of dark.
It is, but it's also kind of good.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
I'm putting it B tier. It's not the greatest. It's not the worst.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. B.
Okay. Next one I have.
More realistic subject matter there.
Oh yeah, that's why it's dark.
Yeah, it gets real in that movie.
What's his name? Will something? Cena, the kid who's in
John
Will Sarah. I think?
Will Sarah. There we go.
Yeah. I do like him in that movie.
The next movie I'm very excited to ask, and I want to get Maddie Will's response to this after in the group chat. The next one I have is Fever Pitch.
I like Fever Pitch.
Fever Pitch. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Fever Pitch is an S tier.
Yeah, dude. A little known fact. Well, actually, it's not little known. I think a lot of people know this, but our audience might not. Which is like just the fantasy league, but that was filmed like during the 2004 season when they actually won.
Yeah,
but all like the footage is like real footage.
Yeah, everything. Yeah,
games when they,
you guys are such homers. I love it.
You gotta love that.
If that's any other team, you guys hate that movie.
Jimmy Fallon, Drew Barrymore.
It is a good movie. Okay, next one I have is I Love You, Man. I only have 2 more after this.
I love you, man.
Okay.
Don't even think I've seen it.
Really? Slap at a bass? No? Okay. Put it on your list of movies to watch. It's a good movie. I'm putting it B tier. Next I have Love Don't Cost a Thing. And let me refresh you guys on this. This is where Nick Cannon is courting Christina Milian, and he is a loser who then bets her. He's like, I'll fix your car if you're my girlfriend for 2 weeks. And I'm gonna go out on a black man limb right here and put this S tier. I'm sorry, guys. This is one of the greatest rom-coms of all time.
What are you gonna put Save the Last Dance up next too?
No, I know. Okay, the last one I have is Just Right, and I'll be honest, I didn't want to put this on here. Gretchen kind of was like, see what they said, what they think. I don't know if I like Just Right.
Can't say I've seen that one either.
Okay. I thought that would be the case. Did I leave out any major movies for you guys? Any top tier rom-coms?
I mean, like, if we were really gonna get into this, we'd have to like break down decades. And,
it's funny you say that, Tom. There was a lot of old ones that popped up when I looked up best rom-coms. I'm like, these guys aren't gonna know what this is. Yep. But of course you do.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot like Sleepless in Seattle.
Right.
Like, You Met Sally. You know, we could
Groundhog Day.
Great movie. That was on there too, Nugget. Yeah, I didn't think Maddie will know what that was.
Love that movie.
We're kind of walking the line of just like raunchy 2000 comedies that are also have like romantic storylines.
I was looking for rom-coms that like dudes would like, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty.
I think out of all the movies we listed, 40-Year-Old Virgin and Forgetting Sarah Marshall are my my top 2.
I like it.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Unbelievable.
It is a good movie.
Unbelievably funny movie.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll steer away from rom-coms. We'll get into some sports talk here. The next segment we're going to talk about is injuries, injury report. So we're going to look at a few of the injuries that happened this week and repercussions. So I'm going to go down this list here in no particular order, starting with James Conner. James Conner had a rib injury. He left in the first half, I believe, and didn't come back. And currently, Eno Benjamin is slated to be their running back number 1 next week, unless James Conner plays. I don't know if he gets his snaps cut. Do any of you guys have James Conner? I don't think either of you do you?
I want to say Colton has James Conner. And that actually might be doing a favor for Colton.
Yeah, because now he doesn't have to start him.
Now he doesn't have to start him.
Where someone like myself...
I would start him every week too, but...
Yeah, someone like myself is looking to scoop up Eno Benjamin because I have literally no running backs. So, I mean, a little sneak preview into the waiver wire section later. So, an injury that no one cares about. Baker Mayfield was seen wearing a walking boot on his left foot leaving the game. I don't think anyone's going to start Baker Mayfield, but I do think that hurts the Carolina Panthers. They just fired Matt Rule, I think yesterday or today, maybe.
Yep, saw it this morning.
Yeah, he just got let go within the last 48 hours.
Yeah, I mean, DJ Moore really is hurt by this. Not that he was doing good before, but, he may not be doing so well. Christian McCaffrey, I don't know. Maybe he benefits from PJ Walker going in.
I've been hearing about McCaffrey to the Bills. I saw a couple articles on.
I saw that too, but then I also saw something saying that the Bills were like, we never reached out, but you never know.
Well, not only that, but I don't think that they can make that trade unless they restructure his contract because it doesn't fit into their cap.
That's fair. Yeah, I've been holding on to James Cook on my bench for a while, and I think it's about time to let that boy go because I don't know. I don't know if it's working for him, especially if McCaffrey comes. So the next injury I have is for the Bengals. It's T. Higgins, who left early Sunday night due to an ankle injury. I'm sorry for anyone that started him. I think he played like 2 downs and then left the game. Matty Will texted me during the game, and he's like, "Is T. Higgins playing?" And I checked, and he was active. So I said yes. But then as I was watching it, the broadcast was like, T. Higgins is not coming back in today. And I was like, damn,
There's
sucks.
nothing you can do about that. Actually, it happened to a few people this week.
Yeah, I mean, your quarterback, right? Teddy Bridgewater.
Well, he was actually, yep.
Yeah.
And
He's next.
Darren Waller too. Pretty sure his second drive, Darren Waller was out.
Okay, 0 points, right?
Yeah, so that's the next injury report I have here is Teddy Bridgewater was downgraded from questionable to out during a concussion protocol versus the Jets. Unlucky for you, Nugget, for sure. We'll talk about our matchup later, but that definitely hurt you.
I look at it as it's lucky for me because I need to be starting Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
the
baby.
number 5 quarterback in the NFL.
He definitely is. Ron Rivera feels differently than you. I don't know if you guys follow Washington football.
I saw that interview today. Come on.
Yeah, what are we doing, dude?
Literally, the reporter asked him, like, every other team in the NFC East has been rebuilding at the same time as you, and it seems like all the other teams are further along. What's the reasoning for the Commanders not? And he goes, literally, plain and simply, just quarterback. What do you mean?
Dude, okay, let me vent real fast for you about how ridiculous of a statement that is, okay? Let's talk about the other 3 quarterbacks in our division. Daniel Jones is a worse quarterback than Carson Wentz. I don't care what anyone says. They have a better record. Quarterback is not what's going to decide everything. The Cowboys have, who is his name? Cooper Rush, a backup quarterback, and they're doing perfectly fine.
5-0.
5-0, right? Like, I mean, Jalen Hurts is disgusting, but I mean, looking at last year, he wasn't the greatest either, and they ended up making the playoffs.
Yep.
But still, you can't blame it all on Carson Wentz. He's really not even that bad, right? Like,
no, blame it on defense.
There's so many different things wrong with our team besides Carson Wentz that we need to address before.
Have a good defense. They've got good players on defense.
Having said that, though, I hope we do bench Carson Wentz coming up soon because I think if he plays less than 70% of the snaps, we retain our first-round pick or something ridiculous like that. So I'm hoping they do sit him down.
I mean, it seems like they're trying to. I don't think there's been a game this year that they haven't thrown more than 40 times.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because they throw so much, but the wide receivers haven't really been producing. It's like a weird dynamic there. I don't really get it.
It's spread out there.
Yeah. But staying in the same game was Tyreek Hill, who also didn't come back in the fourth quarter. I think he was also seen wearing a walking boot. I don't know if that's going to be as serious as that.
I think him and Waddle, those numbers they're gonna suffer.
Yeah, they're on their 3rd string wide quarterback. I mean, I don't see Tua coming back for a little while. Who knows, really? I mean, these concussion protocols are getting very, very scrutinized, It's
gonna get worse.
Yeah, so speaking of concussions, this is flowing perfectly. Chris Olave for the New Orleans Saints.
Oh. Yeah, but that was legit.
That was a legit concussion, but the reason I bring that up is in any other year, I feel like he'd be able to play this next upcoming week and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But I feel like this year they're going to hold him out an extra week, maybe even 2, because like the Tua situation, he's been one of my standouts.
See the play, though?
Yeah.
His body was like a rag doll. He was literally asleep on the field.
Yeah, I mean, Nugget, that touchdown literally won me the game. Had they not called that a touchdown, you would have won.
That was not a touchdown either.
It was a touchdown, but he did drop the ball. You know what I mean? But I think it shouldn't have been a touchdown ultimately.
I always thought you have to retain possession when going to the ground.
He definitely got sympathy points for being knocked the fuck out. You know what I mean?
He was knocked out as soon as his head hit the ground.
Yeah.
Which was the first point of his body to hit the ground. The ball came loose because all of his strength went out the window.
Yeah, well, so he went out with a concussion. I don't know if he'll be back next week because of the concussion protocol. That was the main reason why I wanted to bring him up. Getting to the Patriots game, so Damian Harris didn't play, I don't think. Or if he did play, he didn't come back in.
He did. Second or third drive, he went out with a hamstring injury.
Yeah, they already said that he's going to be out a couple weeks. So Ramondre Stevenson is looking to take the strong lead in that battle there.
Yeah, he's listed as doubtful. Harris is.
Yeah,
but
he's done.
Yeah, Nugget. I mean, the season's not over yet. I will retract my statement earlier that Ramondre Stevenson isn't going to be the lead back there because he looks like he's a baller, and he's going to get all the touches moving forward.
He's a young version of LeGarrette Blount.
It's a good comparison, and he catches passes too.
And he can catch. Yep, exactly.
Also on the Patriots, Nelson Aguilar did not return with a hamstring injury. I think in our league we have Jacoby Myers out there. I think maybe that's a different league.
He had a good game.
But Jacoby Myers is looking fine, really. But Nelson Aguilar doesn't return, and Who's next? So next I have Saquon Barkley, who left the game with a shoulder injury and then came back into the game in the fourth quarter. So something to monitor moving forward. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. Saquon's like the running back 2 on the year in terms of rushing yards. He's doing really well.
What? Oh, you're saying running back 2 in the whole league?
Yeah, like I think he has the second most rushing yards
I
this
thought
year.
you meant like running back 2 on the Giants. I was like, wait, what?
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, he's ranked 3rd position rank.
Yeah. No, he's back to his original form.
Yeah, he hasn't had under double-digit points all year.
Yeah, he's balling.
Yeah.
He's the reason the Giants are doing so well. I mean, he's obviously the reason they weren't doing good last year too. So
him, like breaking out.
The Steelers had Pat Freiermuth go out with a concussion. I don't think he's on anybody's team, but something to note if you're thinking about picking him up. And the biggest injury of the week, I think, is Rashad Penny, who suffered a serious ankle injury versus the Saints. I think he literally broke his tibia, like fractured his tibia. That's terrible. Fracture. So he's out for the season. First thing I did was because I think I have Rashad Penny. Or no, I'm sorry. I don't have Rashad Penny, but I looked on the waiver wire to see if Kenneth Walker was there, and he's already taken. Someone already has him on his bench, so no one's going to be able to pick him up, but I believe their second string running back, I forget his name, but the guy right below Kenneth Walker, I think that'll be like a split backfield moving forward, so that might be a look for someone to pick up. I think it's Dallas something.
Seahawks?
On the Seahawks, yeah. It's not Kenneth Walker, but it's the guy right below him.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker III, and then DJ Dallas.
Yeah, DJ Dallas. He's played well in the past. I don't know if they give the rookie 100% of the snaps moving forward. I think that might be a decent pickup. I'm really just speaking to teams like myself that have no running back depth, like Javonte Williams without, Chase Edmonds is a ghost, teams like that. So that is the injuries for the week. Did I miss anything major, you guys think?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
I think you hit just about everyone.
So the next segment we're going to talk about is matchups for the week. I typically wait to talk about this at the end, but we'll talk about it early because that's what's most important. So the first matchup I have is myself versus Captain Phillips. This ended up being a really close game. I won by essentially 2 points. Came down to the wire there. Nugget had his kicker going into Monday night, and he missed 2. Yeah, that was
field goals. Which one wouldn't have counted as a miss because it was a hold. I think a defensive hold, and they ended up getting a first down out of it.
So does that make you feel better though? Like, would you have just rathered him just miss it and like?
No, not at all, because he missed the first one, which was a chip shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he missed that 41-yarder, and then he hit like a 59-yarder.
Yeah, right? He had a 59er, and I was like, this game's over. I literally texted Zach, and I was like, yeah, I'm accepted that I've lost this game. I made a joke saying I'm going to lose Monday night to a kicker with 11 points, and it was going that way,
9 points, 7 points or something.
But that wasn't the whole picture of the matchup. Just to go over here some of our top scorers. So let me go back here.
I don't know if you want to do that to the league.
We're going to, because my top scorer was my keeper, Mark Andrews, with 18 points. Chris Olave with 13 points, who has been a strong contender for one of my best wideouts this year. And Cortland Sutton, who had 9. Nugget had 23 points with Justin Jefferson, 18 with Ramondre Stevenson, and 8 with Mike Wright. Is this his name? Matthew Wright. I'm so sorry. That was your kicker.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I mean, really, what really made that matchup was Teddy Bridgewater went out. Got you 0. Gerald Everett also had 0. I also had Chase Edmonds, who had 0, so I kind of spotted you a player there, but still, it was a stinky matchup overall, if we're being honest.
3 guys with 0.
Yeah, that was a terrible matchup.
That's pretty incredible.
Technically, I got you 0.1.
He did give me 0.1, yeah. He's getting dropped next week if any of you guys are looking to pick up Chase Edmonds.
Sure.
But that was an interesting matchup. Zach was trying to paint this matchup like it was the worst matchup of all time, and that's not even the worst 3 scores we've had this year. Just throwing it out there, Nugget. Like there's been some.
And to be honest with you, it came down to the wire. It came down to Monday.
It was an interesting matchup.
Final minutes of the game, so it was actually a great matchup.
But GG, unfortunately, you fall to 0-5, and I will go to 2-3. Which isn't even much better, Nugget. I'm in 10th place. You're in 12th. So only up from here.
I cannot wait for first pick next year.
Yeah.
These are the bottom 3 teams right here.
Yeah. We're dissecting the league as the worst people.
Yeah, we really know what we're doing.
The next matchup I have here is Dan versus Matty Will. Tegrity Farm Towels versus the Replacements. And Dan ended up winning by a good amount. It was 113-91. Some of Matty Will's top scorers were Derrick Henry with 26, Dalvin Cook with 25, Tom Brady with 18, And Dan, who is looking like a strong favorite to win the league, had Josh Allen with 35 points, Tyler Lockett, who went off for 24.9 points, and San Francisco's defense for 15 points. And if I take a look at this matchup overall, Matty Will's team is incredibly top-heavy. I mean, his top 3 players, and then everyone else kind of wasn't too good. Yeah. Luckily, Matty Will didn't have to start Kyle Pitts.
That's a pretty big drop-off outside of Matty Will's top 3 scores.
Yeah, that's
highest score. His highest score was his kicker outside of those top 3.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. His defense got him -2.
Love that.
He does have DeAndre Hopkins coming back.
Sneaky play. Interesting pick putting Kareem Hunt on the bench there for Garrett Wilson.
Kyle Pitts has really not shown up so far for him this year.
I'm waiting for him to drop Kyle Pitts because I'm going to pick him up as soon as he does. Tell you that much. Don't drop him, Matty Will. I'll gladly take Kyle Pitts.
No, I'll back him up on that Garrett Wilson play though. I mean, the Jets scored 40 points.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm on Ross St. Brown didn't show up. Neither did Detroit, really.
I mean, I could have told you that playing that stifling New England defense.
Apparently, dude, I bet against them. We'll get into betting later, but I bet on Detroit thinking that was a shoe-in. I'm like, Zappy's in. Like, what are we saying? Yeah, you know, they were favorites.
I'm not gonna lie. I took them in the spread.
Yeah, holy crap, dude. I guess the Patriots, Bill Belichick is still there. But looking at Dan's team is good overall. Really, everyone on his team did well. Cam Akers was Nuggets trade, even put up 7 points, which wasn't the worst.
Nope, 3.
Yeah, 3.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm looking at projected.
Yeah, and he actually had Darren Waller who had 0.
Oh, so I take that back, actually. He did have a couple bad plays, but ultimately, when you have Josh Allen on your team, you have a good chance of winning every week. Colt mentioned that he took Justin Herbert over Josh Allen earlier. I mentioned that in our draft episode. Remember that nugget when I was like, interesting pick to take Herbert over Josh Allen? I just feel like Josh Allen's locked in, dude. Like 35 points.
That offense is locked. That team is locked in.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Dan's team had 77 points on the bench, too.
That is crazy.
On his bench.
Gabe Davis balled out, dude. He has Kenneth Walker there, too, if he needs him, which he'll probably start over Cam Akers. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but I might start Kenneth Walker.
Fun fact, Dan's bench actually beat our team.
Yeah. That's depressing, yeah.
6 bench players beat both your teams.
And he has DeAndre Swift out. So, like, Dan's a very good team. Okay, so the next game we have here is Godin's Grinders versus the Barack Obama-ups. Nugget mentioned earlier that Kyle's kind of making the most out of his team, and I fully agree. Kyle won 117-82 against Colton. So some of Kyle's top performers were Leonard Fournette with 30 points, Jalen Hurts with 27, and Dameon Pierce with 18. And Colton's top 3 performers... Oh, sorry, I got this little bubble here. So Colton's top 3 performers were Cooper Kupp with 22, Justin Herbert with 14, and Tyler Higbee with 8.1. So Colton only put up 82 points, and why doesn't he get ridiculed for having under 100 points, but we do? But yeah, let's talk about Kyle's team for a second, because Kyle's team, I mean, this is the second week in a row he's had Josh Jacobs on the bench, and Josh Jacobs has broken his best points record 2 weeks in a row. So he's just teasing him there.
I mean, make the call, though, right now, because, you know, Fournette and Pierce both got the hot hand right now.
It's really Leonard Fournette. Are you
really going to start Jacobs over CeeDee Lamb?
No, I'm sorry, not Leonard Fournette. It's really like Terry McLaurin. Like, he has to kind of jump out there and take McLaurin or CeeDee Lamb out, you know? But, I mean, to his point, his team has very good depth. His bench looks healthy and ready to play.
And Duvernay, too. Duvernay he's a prime piece of that offense in Baltimore, especially lately.
Yeah, so, I mean, Kyle's team's doing really well. Dameon Pierce looks like he might be a great keeper next year. We'll see, but he looks very good.
Kyle's team has like names that you don't like, but
right?
They're all good.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. That's why I think out of everyone in the league, he's done the most with the least.
I rudely called his team middle tier. I was like, everyone on your team is middle tier. And that's such a rude statement because, like, his team's so much better than mine, you know?
I mean, you guys are both 2 and 3, right?
Yeah, that's fair. We're both 2 and 3, but I don't know. He's had more definitive wins.
I think he's put up 100 points almost every week.
Yeah, I mean, I actually beat him week 2. He's one of my only wins. And I think that was the only week he did did bad. But looking at Colton's team here, Colton really had a rough week, I would say, across the board, pretty average. Cooper Kupp is always going to ball for him. He had 22. Justin Herbert had 14. I don't know if he wins if he has Josh Allen, but it definitely would have helped. But yeah, I mean, average week for Colton. He looks to bounce back. I think he's 3-2, so he's like one of the only 3-2 teams in our league. So getting into the next matchup, we have Dan Wagon Fan versus AS St. Etienne, and this is Brando versus Nico in the two guys with O's at the end of their name bowl. And this was also a close game, 115 to 111. I think, Nugget, did I have Brando as in the championship, or was that Jim?
I don't remember. I just remember getting a lot of crap for picking Brando as the league favorite in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, he's 4-1. He's flying.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, Eckler's coming around right now, and he knew he would.
Yeah, so top three scores for him: Eckler with 33, Aaron Rodgers with 16, and DK Metcalf with 15. Compared to Nico's top three, which was the Dallas defense with 23 points. Holy shit. Stephon Diggs with 20 points and Kyler Murray with 16. It was a close matchup.
Dallas defense is looking good this year, I must say.
Yeah, I hate it so much, man. Every week I bet against them, and I'm like, their defense can't win them a game, and they do.
Their defense is winning them games.
For sure. Yeah, they destroyed us last week.
Cooper Rush just he's not turning the ball over, and that's why they're winning. Good defense and no turnovers.
I'd say Parsons is like quarter way through the year, the NFL MVP on defense.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, funny story. I have an app on my phone where I can.
Too.
Yeah, Dax, and he was hurt.
So funny story, right? I have an app on my phone where I track all my prices of all my sports cards that I collect. And randomly a few years ago, I packed a Micah Parsons card, which was like a 10 out of 10, like super nice one. And I'm going through and I'm checking them, and I just hit refresh, and my Micah Parsons card is worth pretty much more than all the rest of my cards. It's insane.
That's awesome.
But yeah, getting back to Brando's team, he had a good week here. Austin Eckler, like you said, is flying right now. He had 33 points. Definitely a top-heavy win, but it was a good week for him overall. Joshua Palmer is an interesting start for him at wide receiver.
Yeah, he's severely lacking a wide receiver too.
Yeah. I mean,
it's only a matter of time before Najee Harris comes around, but he needs a wide receiver too.
Yeah, I mean, his three running backs are disgusting. Aaron Jones, Eckler, and Najee Harris is a great three. But yeah, he needs some wide receiver help. But I mean, right now he got the win. Looking at Nico's team, he also had an average game here. TJ Hawkinson only put up 1 point after putting up like 40 last week. That's pretty rare. But yeah, I think similar to the Cowboys defense might just win him some weeks because 23 points is absurd against the Rams. The Rams aren't a bad team. Yeah, but overall,
everyone performed for him.
Yeah, but overall, good week for both of them.
Yep. No, it's good. It's good. That was a good game.
So next game I have is Culpo's second boyfriend versus Airsoft Thugs. This is Jim versus Mike. And two really good teams, in my opinion. Mike ended up winning with 104 to 92. He'll stay perfect. The only perfect team, actually, still through week 5. So his top performers were Breece Hall with 26, coming alive there in New York. Alvin Kamara with 20 points. He's back to life there. And Lamar Jackson with 14, which is below average for his standards. And then Jim's top performers were Christian McCaffrey with 19, Saquon Barkley with 18, and Hollywood Brown with 17. So looking at this matchup here, just looking at Jim's team first, he had a average game. Really, the Dolphins hurt him. They got him -5 points. That stinks. And T. Higgins put up 0. You mentioned he didn't play earlier. He did leave Cooper on the bench. I don't know if we'll do bench champions. Maybe we'll do bench champions.
But
he left Cooper on the bench and Michael Pittman, which is interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, his team's pretty good.
I don't know if I trust any Denver Bronco on offense right now.
You're telling me, Nugget. You are telling me.
Until they figure their shit out, I don't know if I would start another Bronco.
You're telling me. Every week I had the debate on whether I start Russell Wilson, and I don't know if this is going to be the week I don't do it. We'll see. And looking at Mike's team, so Mike stays perfect. He had a good week overall. He did get 0 points from Tyler Conklin, who was having a decent season up until last game. But overall, everyone on his team did pretty well. Antonio Gibson, I think, is losing his starting job there in Washington to Brian Robinson. His target share has gone down every single week. So Mike tried to actually trade him to me, and he should have known better. I know everything about the Commanders, and Antonio Gibson's not it over there right now. But his team's decent. I mean, he even had Jacoby Myers on the bench with 20 points. Geno Smith had 23.9, beating Lamar Jackson. He'll never start Geno Smith.
Is every week he's putting up numbers, man, and it's pissing me off.
Mike has 3 starting quarterbacks on his team at this point. He has Tua on IR, Geno Smith, and Lamar Jackson. That makes me mad because every week I have to go look at quarterbacks because I have Russell Wilson on my team, and I'm like, where's Geno Smith? Like, whose team is he on? I look and he's sitting on Mike's bench, and I'm like, what are we doing? Mike is playing keep away from me at this point.
Yeah, Geno Smith's been playing unreal. He's top 5 quarterback.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Brees Hall, like, since week 1, he's got, I think, at least like 12 points a game, 26 this past week. That's kind of like a surprise running back for me.
I thought he was going to take over. Honestly, I thought Travis Etienne was going to do the same thing that Brees Hall's doing right now. Like, start off slow and eventually be like the best running back in the league, but hasn't been looking too good for him.
Steady, at least 12 points, 12, 15, 26 the past 5 weeks.
Yeah, he's solid. The Jets overall have been solid, which is surprising. I still think of them as the terrible Jets, but they've been having a decent year, fantasy and in real life.
I can't believe they scored 40 points.
Yeah, that's insane.
Me neither.
So getting into the last game, we have Kareem Pie versus Tennessee State. This was Zach versus Tom. Heavily debated game in the group chat. Zach ended up being top scorer with 142 points. Tom put up 99. And it was a good game overall. Zach had everybody playing on Monday, so we really didn't know what was going to happen until Monday, and his team essentially went off. But looking at some of his top 3 players, he had Travis Kelce with 30 points, which is surprising. I thought he would have had more. Devontae Adams with 25 points and Nick Chubb with 25 points. Compared to Tom, who had 30, Mahomes had 30.4 points. David Montgomery put up 16.2, and Justin Tucker put up 16 points in that victory over the Bengals, I believe that was. But looking at Zach's team,
the reason Kelce, who had 4 touchdown catches, 4 touchdowns in a game, which I don't think I've gotten 4 touchdowns out of my tight end position all year.
Yeah, seriously.
But he only had somehow 25 yards.
Yeah. I was just looking. Yeah, 30 points. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I thought he had 50 points, but I guess he only had 30.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns is kind of absurd. I don't know if that's the most ever, but
God. I felt like someone was playing as the Chiefs in Madden, and they were just pumping it to Kelce.
Yeah, and I don't want to pick on Zach. I mean, I know we pick on him in the group chat a little bit, but he picks on us right back. But I mentioned earlier, I don't know if he sustains this all year. He's going to hold me to everything I say on this podcast, so I'll make sure I'm very clear in my statement here. But I don't know if his team can uphold this Hall of Fame pace all year. And maybe I eat my words at the end of the year. Maybe Nick Chubb breaks the rushing record. Maybe Travis Kelce has 30 touchdowns. You know what I mean? But I don't really see his team sustaining that greatness all year.
Yeah, they'll come back down to earth.
Well, we were just talking about everyone else's team, Kyle's team in particular, and we were saying how like everyone looks middle tier. Zach's team looks middle tier, if we're being honest. Like, and Zach's gonna give me shit for this because I'm talking about his team. But outside of Devontae Adams and Travis Kelce, well, I'm sorry, Nick Chubb too, because Nick Chubb's having a great season. Everyone else on his team looks like they're on my team.
You know what's helping him is you got the Keenan Allen injury.
Yeah, well, you're telling me Keenan Allen's been out for me.
Mike Williams. So he's got Mike Williams. Mike Williams is having a hell of a year. Mike Williams is a good wide receiver.
He is, but he won't be that good when Keenan Allen comes back.
No, but I think Mike Williams has the potential to be up there as a top tier, if not the top wide receiver 2 in the league.
Yeah, I mean,
Mike Williams and Edward Zelaire are both top 10 in their respective positions.
Yeah,
so
and Edward Zelaire showed his true colors. He
didn't get into the end zone.
They put up 30 points, but Hilaire puts up 5 points for fantasy, and that's what everyone saw last year, and I think that's the true that's the true Hilaire.
Yeah, but he did have a touchdown catch that was then overruled.
Yeah, it was overruled, and Kelce got it.
Kelce that went.
Yeah. Yep.
But I do want to give Zach his flowers. He is having an amazing season up until this point.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I'm not trying to down talk his team. It's the only thing we talk about in the group chat. And I want to make my bold statement of saying I don't think he makes the playoffs because I really don't think this is sustainable. I mentioned in the first episode, he's one Nick Chubb injury away from falling off. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, Kelce's due for some normal weeks where he's not scoring 20 points a week.
Devontae Adams is suspended next week.
All of a sudden you do 2 or 3 of those weeks at the same time that Chubb has, a very mediocre week.
So next week he doesn't have.
Has Devontae Adams been suspended?
I believe so.
He will be. I'm pretty sure that.
Oh, it hasn't actually happened yet. Yeah. Well, he will be.
I I will say it's like worth noting. I mean, even if Chubb didn't play, who scored 25 points, Zach would have still been the top scorer this week.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, it's impressive. I'm not taking it away from him. It was a great week. Like, I'm not trying to say his team's bad or anything.
20 or 117. He would have been, I think, neck and neck with Kyle at 117. But that's pretty nuts.
No, he's having a great year. My hot take is I don't think it's sustainable. We'll see.
I just say if you take his like highest scoring player out of his roster this week, he still has the highest.
Yeah, that's crazy. But good win for him. Looking at Tom's team here, Tom again. Patrick Mahomes held him up here. He did not have. Yeah, he didn't have Jonathan Taylor. Who could have used? I mean, I guess Devontae Smith, who had an off week last week, could have played.
Yeah, I keep swapping Cooks and Smith, and then I get whoever does well is on my bench, and the person I start sucks. So. And
you also have that San Francisco stack of Debo and Kittle, which San Francisco's offense doesn't look the greatest either.
Somehow they scored 37 points and are leading the AFC West or wherever they are, NFC West, but these guys aren't scoring any points for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm blown away with Kittle, and I was going to stay away from him regardless just because of injury, and he did start the year injured, but like he's there, and he doesn't produce for some reason.
And no, for sure. And
he's nasty. He's nasty.
Yeah.
But
no, I was going to say, so since we were talking about the Monday Night Football game, Tom said he had a few points he wanted to bring up. One of them happened in that Monday night game. Tom, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, well, I wanted to get our opinions on the whole roughing the passer thing. It wouldn't have affected this game. Obviously, Zach beaten at 43 points, but that strip sack fumble would have count against Derek Carr. And if I had lost by like 3, I would have had a real big gripe with that. So I don't know what we're thinking.
So I'm so glad you asked. I looked up the rule yesterday because I was so mad. And technically, roughing the passer, or the body weight part of the roughing the passer, technically the quarterback is, until he's protecting himself, it's considered part of the sack. So it doesn't matter that the ball was already out, because a lot of the arguments was like, it was a fumble at that situation, it's a scrum, who cares if he falls on him, right? But technically, until the quarterback can protect himself, it's still part of the sack. Even if that were the case, though, I still think it wasn't a roughing the passer. Using your body weight, like, what are they literally expected to do? You know what I mean?
Here's my question, and this is an honest question. If there's a loose ball and a quarterback's going for it and dives head first, and a defensive lineman dives head first and makes head-to-head contact with him, is that technically going to be considered roughing the passer?
No, because it's not in the act of a sack. I don't believe so.
So because the ball changed hands in the act of the sack itself.
Yeah, the whole act was started with the sack. So what they're essentially evaluating there is the sack. And you can rule out the factor that the ball came out because it was still a sack all the way until he hits the ground. And the argument is, was he protecting himself because he put his arm down? Some people say if he puts his arm down to brace himself, he's being protected, and at that point it's not a full weight sack. Either way, I think it's BS. It shouldn't have been a roughing the passer.
I think the NFL is protecting quarterbacks too much.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Look, there was a pass interference call against who played the Bucs this week.
Are you talking about a roughing the passer? Is that what you meant to say?
A roughing the passer on Brady. There was also another one in the Patriots game with Goff. Goff actually jumped to throw a ball to get it off because I don't remember who it was that was going after him, and he had gone underneath his helmet as Goff was coming back down, and Goff, bottom of his face mask hit the top of his helmet, and that was a head-to-head collision and roughing the passer.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think it's absurd. The Tom Brady one's so different, in my opinion. Like, I kind of understand why they could call the Derek Carr one a roughing the passer. I still disagree that it was a roughing the passer, but I understand the thought process of why it could have been called. The Tom Brady one was like, what are we doing? Like, first of all, Tom Brady gets thrown to the ground and tries to kick the defender and gets nothing for that. Like, I hate Tom Brady so much. I'm sorry. I guess I'm venting about Tom Brady. But that was not even close to a roughing the passer. That was just an old man playing football who got tossed around.
Yeah. I just think like they need to take a look at the rule and change that, because it's becoming unwatchable at points. Like, I'd rather watch college football because plays like that don't get called roughing passer. They get called sacks or strip sacks.
Well,
College football does have targeting, which is also another problem.
Yeah, but you know what? They will go to a replay for it to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, get it right. Like if Chris Jones and Derek Carr are putting their arm down, the ball's been fumbled, like just look at that. Everyone watching would agree that that's not roughing the passer. At least, I mean, anyone I've spoken to. And I understand the rule. I understand we're protecting these guys, get paid millions of dollars. That's the whole point. We want a lot of points. Quarterbacks are the game. But how does a defender who weighs 330 pounds and a 6'6" fall any other way?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw the race card out there because I was watching Lamar Jackson play, and he gets hit harder than anyone else in the league, and none of that gets called. Any athletic running back type of quarterback never gets those calls, right? Like Justin Fields gets absolutely smushed every game, dude. And he never gets a call for getting hit too hard. You know, Tom Brady essentially just got thrown hard is all that happened.
And I get, like, if you want to say Brady's Brady and he's earned that, Brady's played 22 years, obviously he's the greatest quarterback.
Yeah, but
it's BS.
Derek Carr, though? Like, come on with Derek Carr.
No, that's BS.
How's he getting that call?
But I agree with you guys. I think neither of those are roughing the passing calls, and I do hope they clean it up because there's nothing worse than seeing a touchdown and like not even being able to celebrate yet because you're like, maybe they, you know, like, I don't know, wait until there's no flags, you know, like, I don't know.
Or even seeing like a big third down stop and all of a sudden that reverses the course of the game because it's now
not only like our fantasy games, but they're impacting the way these games. Like, 1,000% chance to get the ball back and potentially beat what they lose 21-15. That sealed the game for the Bucs. That call
for sure, and it could have lost it didn't, but it could have lost the Chiefs the game if it went worse than, you know, if like let's just say from that moment on the Raiders score 30 points. Like you look back on that and you're like, yeah, that could have gone obviously a different way.
Yeah,
I hate Tom Brady.
They shouldn't come down to that. But
I love you, Tom. If you're watching this, just know I love you.
No, dude, I hate Tom Brady. Last year he was on my team and it was so hard to root for him. Okay, getting into the next segment, we have fantasy MVPs for the week. We'll go through this pretty fast. It was a pretty decent week overall. At quarterback number 1, we have Josh Allen. Josh Allen put up 35 points. He threw for 424 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did throw an interception, and then he carried the ball. Go ahead.
The most impressive feat about his performance, what was his attempts and completions?
He had 20 attempts. 20 completions on 31 attempts.
20 completions, and he threw for how many yards?
424. I think Gabe Davis had over 230 yards last week. Like Gabe Davis was balling. Yeah, dude, he's different. He also carried the ball 5 times for 42 yards, which I believe. No, I'm sorry, Jalen Hurts had more, but second most rushing yards.
He's hands down the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, he really is.
I don't think there's anyone that compares to it.
I mean, shout out to Jalen Hurts. He's having an amazing season.
Great season, but not Josh Allen.
No, that's our quarterback quarterback 1 for the week, Josh Allen. I think this is his second time getting that this year.
He's going to be around a while too.
Yeah, for sure. Him and Lamar Jackson's going to end up being AFC Championship every year, I feel like. So getting into the running back. I'm sorry, go ahead.
He gets decimated by injuries.
You're completely forgetting about Patrick Mahomes. You think Lamar Jackson?
No, I'm not forgetting. I think Josh Allen's better than Mahomes.
No, I did forget about Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is nasty.
Or not Jackson, Allen. I'm saying Allen is.
Yeah. No, I agree, Tom. I did forget about Patrick Mahomes. I thought he was in the NFC for some reason. But yeah, for sure it's going to be. That was the AFC Championship last year. Was Chiefs versus Bills, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you're not wrong. It's going to be the Ravens, Bills, Chiefs.
It'll be those 3.
One of those 3 teams are going to be in the AFC Championship, if not 2 of those 3.
Especially if the Bills get Christian McCaffrey. Are you kidding me? That's going to be cheating.
They don't even need him.
All right. Yeah, I know. Seriously. Their best running back is their quarterback. But getting to the running back 1 for the week, it was Austin Eckler. We spoke about him earlier. He had a great bounce back week. He had 33.9 points. So he had 16 carries for 173 yards and a touchdown. Then he had four receptions for 26 yards and a touchdown on 4 targets. That offense should have been flying since the beginning of the year, but they've been kind of crippled with some injuries. Like we mentioned earlier, Keenan Allen went out for me. He was one of my keepers. I'm hoping to get him back.
Herbert's been playing injured, so.
And they're still good.
Yep, they are.
Running back 2 for the week was Leonard Fournette. And Leonard Fournette had 30.9 points. I didn't watch this game, so I was surprised to see that point total at the end of the game. But he had a good week. He had 14 carries for 56 yards and 1 touchdown, which is mediocre. But he put up 10 receptions for 83 yards and a touchdown on 11 targets. Yep. That's more than most wide receivers.
It's the Tom Brady special, man. Come on.
Yeah, dude, I'm hoping he feeds the ball to Rachaad White. I have him on my bench just waiting. Leonard Fournette, just get hurt or something, man. Like
he will. He will.
So shout out to Leonard Fournette, and then we'll get to wide receiver number 1. Spoke about him before. Wide receiver number 1 this week was Gabe Davis. He had 30.6 points, and this is a disgusting stat line here, but 3 receptions for 171 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That's how you know it's a fluke. That's how you know it's a fluke.
I mean, he only had 1 less target than our second wide receiver, which was Davante Adams. But he had 6 targets. But yeah, those first 2 passes were ridiculous. I mean, great catch. I'll give him that. But that first touchdown was a 99-yard touchdown, like all run after catch.
He won't do it again.
I mean, he'll be okay. He's on the best passing offense in the league, I think, in my opinion. Yeah. But I don't know if he's ever going to put up 3 receptions for 171 yards. That's absurd.
No.
But shout out to Gabe Davis. He does get wide receiver 1. That might be his only time being there, so we'll shout him out. And then our wide receiver 2 for the week was Davante Adams. Davante Adams on Monday night had 25.9 points. He had 3 receptions for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns on 7 targets. So ironic that the top 2 wide receivers had 6 total targets combined. 6 total receptions, I'm sorry. It felt like Davante Adams had more catches than that, but apparently he only caught the ball 3 times.
Yeah, that 58-yard catch.
Yeah.
And he had a mean stiff arm at the end of the game too.
Yeah. But shout out to Davante Adams. That was Zach was going to win that game even if Davante didn't play. We mentioned that before, but he definitely helped a lot. So shout out to Davante Adams. So
what was really frustrating?
What's that?
Real quick about playing Zach. He had half his team playing.
Mm-hmm.
I think Davante Adams had 2 touchdowns. Travis Kelce had 4. His kicker had 16 points.
Yeah.
I just wanted a couple of them to bomb. Everyone played amazing.
I know. I know you mentioned you mentioned you're like it could happen. Like maybe these guys don't score, and literally the only people that scored were on his team.
Maybe Derek Carr fumbles a bunch. Dude, 4 touchdowns out of Kelce, 120 yards, and 2 out of Adams.
Yeah, that was Zach's game of the year for sure. I think that's the most points scored all year too. By the way, all on Monday night. By the way,
it's up there.
So getting to our tight end number 1, free agent Taysom Hill, who put up 34 points on the waiver wire.
I dropped him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you did. Let me read off this stat line. This is kind of stupid here, okay? He went 1 for 1 on passing for 22 yards and 1 touchdown. He rushed the ball 9 times for 112 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. Oh, that's actually it. I thought he had a receiving catch too, but he didn't. But still, that's absurd. He is going to be – someone's going to pick him up, and they're going to be expecting that to happen again, and it may never happen again.
Well, he's like a cheat code that we can play him at tight end, and he carries.
I got to say.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's not –
look at the games the Saints win, and when the Saints win, Taysom Hill's a part of their offense.
Yeah, but he only does that when Jameis is out. Have you noticed that? Like when Jameis plays, he doesn't really do much.
Yeah, Jameis is a hater.
And I don't know if Jameis Winston's back next week, so that might be a good shout out on the waiver wire. We'll see.
So would he be considered a skill position?
Yes.
Taysom Hill.
I think he should be like in baseball, fantasy baseball, where they can play multiple positions. I feel like that's what he should be.
Yeah, I don't understand why there's why doesn't ESPN or just fantasy platforms in general change? Why don't they adapt mid-year? He's
that is
right.
Great point. Like in baseball, they hit a certain amount of games and they become eligible for that position.
Well, I think the reason why is because he lines up in tight end more than any other position.
He has over 20 carries though. And same thing with Debo
right.
Samuel. Why can't we put him at running back if he literally plays running back for the 49ers?
Yeah, I agree. It's bullshit.
Oh, I 100% agree. By the way, I'm going to shout out Sleeper because you can do that in Sleeper. You can change people in your own league to whatever you want them to be. I'm going to be standing on a cardboard box for Sleeper all year because I can't believe we're still in this archaic ESPN.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's so bad. Just take screenshots of all your history and let's move over.
one thing that we didn't really talk about, but Zach and I talked about in depth was our waiver rule for our league. So we have 1 day waiver period, but the waiver period doesn't actually start on the day it goes through.
Yeah.
Meaning it goes through on like the 3rd or the 4th hour of the day. But the 24-hour clock doesn't start until 12 a.m. the following day.
Yeah, and also just ESPN's just slow. Like the games will be over on Monday night, and you can't see your Tuesday matchups till like Wednesday. Like there's just so much wrong with it.
I don't know. There's a number of things, especially customizing, on the settings. But the other thing is too, we're talking about getting rid of kickers. You cannot fold kickers into defense special teams. So if we get rid of kickers,
maybe we retain kickers. Kickers do. I mean, I've been joking about getting rid of kickers. I'm okay keeping kickers, but maybe we'll do that next podcast where I talk about things we should change, because sleeper is 100% something we should change. And one of the other things you mentioned was about waiver wire. Pardon me, which we can do on ESPN, is we should change to Fab, where everyone gets $100 to start the year off, and you bid on whoever you want to pick up from waiver wire. And once you spend your $100, you're out. Like that should be how we do it. I do it in my other league, and it's way more exciting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I also do that in another league, and I don't know. I have mixed feelings, but I do think it's a fairer way to get.
Because like, I don't know. I feel strongly about the waiver wire because I pick someone up every week, which obviously I'll be at the bottom of the waiver every week. Yep, but I think it should also play into it your record. I don't think if you're the best team and you pick someone up after waivers go through, like
waiver wire used to the waiver order used to reset every single week and do inverse order of standings. And there was a big complaint against that the bottom of the barrel teams keep getting first dibs.
Yeah, because Matty Will had like 9 running backs that year. I do remember that year.
No, this change was done a number of years ago, but I didn't like that. I like what we have now. I just wish the waiver period were an actual 24 hours.
I just like Fab because it's fair.
Hours.
It's fair, and it also adds another strategy to fantasy football.
What Nugget was saying too, like the Naheem Hines thing.
Yeah, like, that was the problem.
Could pick him up because Mike dropped him late, right? But he games hadn't started.
Right.
He wouldn't even be on a team until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Picked him
correct. Yeah.
When it would clear.
Yep.
I mean, luckily no one did because he had a terrible week and he got hurt and scored a point, so worked out. But what if he went out for 30 and he just sat in free agency?
That kind of bothers me because there should have been some poor sap out there.
Well, that's a strategy on Mike's behalf. I feel like Mike's the best keep away player in our league, and I'm not going to fault him for that because it's part of it's part of what you can do. But
it's like using our league system to benefit himself and his
and one thing that this did uncover was we detected a very sneaky strategy by Mr. Phillips himself.
What?
And that is notice it. So he processes his transaction after the waiver wire transaction gets processed from the previous couple days. And what that does is it does not affect his order in the waiver order.
Oh, for sure. That's what I was saying before. I said you benefit from doing that as opposed to having a waiver waiting.
So everyone puts in a transaction Monday night or Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go through Wednesday until like 4:45.
Which is also stupid. Sleeper goes through at midnight. Okay. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, agreed. Stupid. But Mike manually makes a transaction at 4:43.
Yeah, right after everyone picks up. And
so he's first dibs of an instant transaction and doesn't affect his waiver order.
Yeah, which, I mean, it's smart. We all could do that, really. I knew that and I could do that. But sometimes I want to make sure I get the player that I want, That's the downside of doing it that way.
I would never do that.
But either way, next week I'll come up with a list of things we could potentially change, and I'll also make a list of why sleeper is a million times better. But okay, sorry, we got a little sidetracked here. Getting into the flex position, number 1 player of the week, it was Travis Kelce, who had 30 points. We mentioned him before, 4 touchdowns on 25 yards receiving. Absurd. I do want to shout out to Josh Jacobs. So the next couple players I want to shout out: Josh Jacobs, Breece Hall, and Derrick Henry, who are coming alive and had good weeks as well. And then getting to the best defense, we talked about it also before, but the Cowboys put up 23 points. And I'm going to read off this stat line because this is kind of stupid. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 2 fumble recoveries, 5 sacks, 1 blocked kick, 10 points against. That's incredible. Shout out to the Patriots too. Patriots got 22 points.
Get a touchdown. I mean, they also pitched a shutout too.
against the number 1 scoring offense too.
I was blown away that the Lions were the number 1 scoring offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard Bill Belichick say that in his post game.
Yeah.
Jared Goff.
I do want to shout out Zach, or maybe it was Nugget, for changing this. I don't know if you even did this, but did you know that if a defense scores on a play, like if, say it's a pick six, that doesn't count for your defense's points against?
So ESPN changed that.
That's
used to not
sick.
be the case.
I love that.
Yeah, it was stupid. It used to be so dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of that. I don't even know if you can do that on Sleeper. I'll look into it, but I think that's pretty cool. And the most irrelevant position of the week, best kicker, is New England. It is Nick Folk, who was on waiver wire, and he put up 18 points. He had 4 field goals under 39 yards, which I also think is stupid. It should really be 3 points for 30 yards, 2 points for 20 yards, 1 point for 10-yard kicks, but that's for another episode, I guess. He had 1 field goal of 40 to 49 yards. Sorry, getting back to it. That's why I think it's dumb. How come 40 to 49 gets 4 or gets 1? Anyways, I'm sorry.
Definitely 10-yard kicks should definitely get 1.
Yeah, but
Thing is a 10-yard kick first of all. I mean, it's more challenging to make a 50-plus yarder, so I agree with it being like an extra point. But I don't think it should be like.
I think a 1-yard kick and a 39-yard kick shouldn't be the same amount. Is all I'm saying.
I think defense and special teams should truly be defense and special teams.
I agree. Yeah, it should just be defense. We should change it if it's not going to be special teams. All right, so that is our fantasy MVPs for the week. Next, we're going to get into Week 6 matchups. I'll go through this pretty fast. All right, so getting into next week's matchups, we have myself versus Dan. I'm coming in at 2-3. Dan is 4-1. Dan's currently in 3rd place. I'm in 10th place. I myself have Dan winning this game, but I'm hoping that I win. Obviously, who do you gentlemen have winning?
Yeah, I have Dan taking it as long as Josh Allen's starting.
Yep.
Yeah, I think based on positioning, I gotta go Dan. He's projected to beat you with 8 players. He doesn't
have a tight end right now. Yeah, we'll see my quarterback situation. We'll see who I can pick up on waiver. But yes, I agree. I think Dan's the favorite here. Next game I have. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
I just was gonna agree. I think his team pretty much, with the exception of maybe tight end, is beating you in the position right now.
Next game I have is Golden Grinders versus the replacements, Matty Will versus Kyle. 6th place coming in against 8th place. Both of these gentlemen are 2-3. Currently right now, it is a good game. Matty Will has fallen under the radar in this podcast. We haven't really talked about him much.
Yeah, but this is like a playoff implication game right here.
Yeah, do or die, pretty much, I am going to pick Kyle to win this game. I think Matty Will is forced to start Kyle Pitts next week, which hurts him. And I think Kyle's team's too good. I think Kyle picks the right players next week, and I think he wins.
Yeah, Matt doesn't have pretty sure he doesn't have Henry this week, and he doesn't have Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, rough week for him with the Lions being out. I've got Kyle there. So the next matchup we have is Barack Obama versus Dan Wagon Fan. This is Brando versus Colton. Brando's coming in at 4-1. Colton's coming in at 3-2. These are one of the better teams in the league currently. 4th place versus 5th place. Another playoff battle here. Right now, taking a look at it on first glance, I'm going to have to go Colton. But Brando's proven that he can win against anyone, really. What about you, gentlemen?
Dude,
I'm actually going to. Who are you going with, Tom?
I was gonna say if Najee Harris ever shows up, Brando's team is could be real dangerous with Eckler heating up. I mean, that running back duo might be the best duo if they are both firing on all cylinders. I love Kupp, and Judy's been a surprise for Colton, but I don't like his running backs as much as I like Brando's.
Yeah, I'm really just going off personal bias here. I hate Brando, so we're gonna go with Colton for me. But I do agree, Dan Wagon's team is nasty.
They really met the guy.
Yeah, I know. That's what makes it funny.
He's a Giants fan. That doesn't matter.
Yeah. The next game I have is Captain Phillips versus Culpo's second boyfriend. This is Nugget versus Jim. Nugget comes in 0-5 in 12th place.
By the way, I'm taking Brando on that previous game.
Okay, sorry. Did I skip you?
You did. Sorry,
okay, I'm sorry. You're taking Brando.
And the only reason I'm saying that is because Colton has half his team playing in the in the Denver game.
Ooh.
Oh, never mind. Oh, no, they're playing the Chargers. I thought they were playing the Rams. I take that back.
So you're still taking Brando?
I am, because I don't think Judy or Herbert are going to do anything. Anyone who plays the Broncos, it just seems like one of the most boring, low-scoring games.
You're telling me I'm riding with Barack Obama's Colton. I see you out there, 3-2. But the next game was Nugget versus Jim, and Nugget comes in at 0-5. Jim comes in at 2-3. He was my early favorite to win the league. I still think he has one of the better teams in the league. He currently doesn't have a defense, so we'll see who he picks up. But I am going to go out on a limb here, Nugget. You're going to think I'm crazy. I got Nugget winning this week.
Woo!
I do. I think your team finally comes good. Looking at it objectively without your record, your team's not as bad as everyone says that they are. I think Ramondre Stevenson is finally going to come into his role there and kind of go off for you this week. And I think Jim has a good team, but I got you winning this week, Nugget. I also had you winning last week, which unluckily you lost, you know?
You lose some and you lose some.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got 2 points out of your quarterback, you would have won, though.
Yeah. Yeah, literally 2.
Literally, 2 points.
That's all you needed. I do think your team, like Ramondre Stevenson, I think is going to play really well with Harris going down, and he's like established his role. But like Wentz, Dobbins, Robinson, they can all be like 2-point guys or like 30-point guys.
Yeah, I'm betting on the 30 points this week. I think they do well. I think Jacksonville's going to have a great game against Indianapolis.
For the first time. What was that, Tom?
I was just saying, like Justin Jefferson is like the only one who's consistently gonna put up numbers for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
on paper, it looks like the rest of your team is like a coin toss of whether they're gonna show up.
1000%.
So you're taking Nugget, Tom, or are you taking Jim?
I'm going Jim. Details that I think the coin toss will not be in Nuggets' favor this weekend.
What about yourself, Nugget? What do you think is going to happen?
I'm going to take myself in this only because of the matchups. I finally have favorable matchups for a number of my offensive players, and looking at Jim, he's got Barkley against Baltimore's defense, which I guess that is kind of suspect.
I was going to say, Nugget, all of his players are playing rough games, which is why I picked you, and all your players are playing easy games.
McCaffrey playing against the Rams.
No Baker
and Cooper against the Patriots, which I know the Patriots aren't good, but their defense is pretty decent.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting, but I
we'll see.
Every week I think I'm going to win.
I'm sorry, Jim. The disrespect. We went 2-1 against you.
I know it's so bad.
So
I'm 0-5. Give this guy some credit.
So the next game, AS St. Etienne versus Cream Pie. This is Nico versus Zach. Nico's coming in 7th place at 2-3. Zach is in 2nd place at 4-1. Let me take a look at this matchup. Let me see who I like here. I mean, obviously Zach's the favorite going in.
No Adams this week for Zach.
Yeah, Zach, I know it seems like I'm hating on you this whole episode, and realistically I am. I'll call a spade, but I am going to take Nico here. I think you have too many players out this week, and I think you're not going to be able to do well. I think Edwards-Helaire is not going to do what he's supposed to. I think Keenan Allen comes back this week and takes all the targets from Mike Williams. Mac Jones, obviously, I don't know if he plays.
Yeah. Zach's going to have to pick up a quarterback, so it'll be interesting to see who.
Yeah, me and him are going to be competing for Matthew Stafford on the waiver wire.
I think Godwin's going to have a good week for him against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I do. I just think Nico's team across the board is healthy, and I think his bench looks decent as well. He has Jamal Adams. We'll see or Jamal Williams. I'm sorry. We'll see if he plays him. But yeah, I'm taking Nico. I've been saying that Zach's going to fall off. Yeah. I don't think this is necessarily his fall off. But I think this is the first week where his team is going to show that they've been at Hall of Fame pace all year.
They are who we thought they were.
Yeah. What about you, Nugget? Who are you taking?
I'm going to take Nico in the upset of the week right here.
Surprise.
I make that a trio. I'm going Nico as well.
Take that, Zach. You suck. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure we'll hear the end of it. That is a 3-0 prediction that Zach takes a dump this week. We will see if he can continue his 100-plus point streak that he has. And the last game I have for the week is Airsoft Thugs versus Tennessee State. That is Mike Phillips versus Tom. And this is a flip-flop matchup. Mike is coming in undefeated. Tom is coming in defeated, 5-0 to 0-5. First place to 11th.
Wow, look at this.
So let me take a look at this box score here. Obviously, Mike's team is the favorite. Let me see.
Yeah, not crazy favorite. It's 106.9 to 106.8.
Yeah, the line is incredibly even.
For the most points in the league.
I will say, Tom, if there's one thing If there's one thing we have learned this year, it's that do not go by projections.
Yeah.
Last week I was the top projected scorer, and I haven't broken 100 yet this year.
So sticking with my theme, pretty much for all these games, I'm going to take the healthiest team, and that's Mike. I think Tom has Jonathan Taylor. Drake London's a little banged up. I think George Kittle's still hurt a little bit. We'll see, but I'm going to take Mike. He also has some players on his team. I mean, actually, Tyreek Hill's out, so it might be a little bit closer than we think. But
I think it's a blessing in disguise, though.
Yeah, who's he going to start instead of him?
Well, I'm just saying, I think his numbers are going to suffer dramatically with a third-string quarterback.
Oh, yeah. No, agreed. I am going to take Mike, though. I don't think that Tom has a bad week. Tom's just been unlucky this week, and I think this is one of those weeks where if the projections are correct, I think you lose by 0.1 points.
I'm going to take myself because I want to win a game.
I like it.
And it's always, I feel like these games always like the 5-0 team should just destroy me. And it always ends up being like the worst team upsets the best team. I probably will still suck for the rest of the year, but I have a weird feeling I'm gonna show up and win.
I like that.
I'd love to pick you as the upset of the week, but I think surprisingly in this matchup, the difference maker here, Jacoby Myers at flex.
I'm
telling you, I think he's gonna have a big game.
He's been having good games.
He just came back healthy, and they target the shit out of him.
I will say this is a little asterisk here. I'll put on this. I think Tom wins if he starts his perfect lineup. I think every week your Achilles heel is that you always leave someone on the bench that would have won you the week. So I think if you start the perfect lineup, I think you do win.
That is true. I always leave a player or two that's gets me like 20, and I start a guy who gets me 0.
Yeah. All right. But pertaining to Tom's matchup, who did you have again, Nugget? Did you have Tom?
No, I did not. I had Mike winning it.
Okay, so we got Tom's taking himself, and both of us are taking Mike. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the last segment here. This is for all my sports bettors out there. I always see Pat McAfee do this, and I love. It's like my favorite segment he does. So we're gonna run through all the games here. I'm gonna give you the point spread, and you guys tell me who you're taking in the bets. I'll tally it up next week to see who wins. So on Thursday night we have Washington versus Chicago. Absolute shit fest. It is a 1-point spread right now. Commanders are 1-point dogs. The Bears are 1-point favorites. Money line is obviously the money line. Over and under is 38.5 points. Who are you guys taking in this matchup?
I got Washington.
Where's the game? Yeah.
In Chicago.
It's in Chicago, yes.
Bears then. Bears win outright.
You guys taking money line or are you taking the spread?
I'm taking spread.
Yeah, you got to at 1, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Next game, I'm taking Washington as well. They're 1-point underdogs, which I think is disrespectful. Next, we're going to...
It's on the road in Chicago.
Yeah, Thursday night games are always terrible. I'd also take the under in that game, too, if anyone else is betting. Next, we have Tampa Bay versus Pittsburgh. Right now, Tampa Bay is coming in as 8.5-point favorites, 8 points plus a hook. Right now, the over-under is 43 points. Who do you guys like in this game?
Really, 8.5. I got 7.5 right here by ESPN.
I'm looking at Caesar Sportsbook, so that's probably why mine's a little bit different than yours.
I would take Tampa Bay on that.
Are you taking the spread or money line?
I would take the spread.
8.5, really?
Yep, I think they're winning. They're going to win by 10 plus.
Yeah, Steelers are pretty bad. They just got dumped on by the Bills last week, right?
They're very bad.
Yeah, I'd take the Bucks and the spread. What they lose 38-3 last week.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah,
I would take the Bucks as well. I would take the money line, essentially risking nothing to make nothing. But anything over 7 points, I'm staying away from in the NFL, based on my previous history betting. Next game we have is Cincinnati versus New Orleans at New Orleans. Right now, the Bengals are 1.5-point favorites to the Saints, who I don't know if they get Jameis Winston back this week. I don't know if it matters that much. I'm taking the Bengals with the spread. What about you guys?
Same thing.
Yeah, I'd pick the Bengals.
Yeah, 1.5 is an easy bet. Next game we have is Jacksonville at Indianapolis. Right now, the Colts are coming in as negative 2.5-point favorites. I think that is disrespectful to the Jaguars. I think the Colts really aren't that good. I also don't think Jonathan Taylor plays this week. I'm taking the Jags plus 2.5.
So I'm taking the Colts on that. I actually think the Colts are going to start turning things around.
Okay. Colts to
I
cover.
think they're a laughing stock right now, but they're a playoff contender as they were in the preseason, and I think they only improved this offseason. So I really don't understand why they suck so bad this year.
Matt Ryan.
So at 2-2-1, if you're saying that they suck so bad and they're 500 right now, I think the only place to go right now is up.
Yeah, I think they won last week too.
Jags in this game.
Yeah.
Jags beat them 24-0 already this year.
It's a good call out. That's true.
So why? Here's my question: Why are they already playing each other twice in the first 6 weeks of the season?
Poor scheduling, probably.
I don't like
Good
that.
question. I don't
I
know.
really don't like that.
They
Yeah.
played the Titans. They played the Titans the following week, who they also just played 2 weeks ago.
That's a division game, and that's kind of bullshit.
Last year, we played the Eagles twice in 3 weeks. We played them week 15 and 17. It was the weirdest thing ever. So I agree with you. It is kind of weird.
I think the Jaguars were pounding on their chest, and they're like someone else I know in our league, and they're just a peacock. They got big feathers, and but
I think the Jags.
Jaguars.
I think the Jags
The
take
Jaguars.
it. I think it was a fluke against Washington week 1. But getting
It
to
is
the
it's a weird scheduling call out though, Nugget. In the first 7 weeks, they played the Jaguars and the Titans both twice.
Yeah, I don't like
it's kind
that.
of weird.
4 of the
You
first
got to
7
space that out.
Jaguars and Titans.
That's kind of weird. All right, next game I have is New England at Cleveland. This is one of the 10 o'clock games. Right now, New England comes in as 2.5-point dogs to the Browns. I don't know if they get Mac Jones back this week. One thing I learned from last week's betting is you don't bet against Zappy. Zappy, baby. Give me the Patriots plus 2.5.
I'm taking it with you. Plus 2.5
Yeah.
Pats.
I got Patriots I think they just win money line, win the spread. I think they go and stomp the Browns by a couple touchdowns, to be honest.
Wow.
I think they're just going to run down their throat, and they're going to hold the ball for the majority of the game.
Shocker that you gentlemen both took New England there. We're going to go to the next game here, which
Yeah,
is
I took Detroit last week. Just to let you know.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Next
Browns'
game.
2 wins are against the Steelers and the Panthers, who are unarguably like some of the worst teams.
That's a good call out. Yeah, I mean, I think that's just an easy bet. The Patriots surprise you every week. Surprise me, I should say. The next game we have is the New York Jets versus the Green Bay Packers at Green Bay. This is also a 10 a.m. game for me, 1 a.m. for you guys. Right now, the Jets are 7-point dogs to the Packers in Green Bay. Oh, this is a trap game. I'm going to let you guys go first.
I got the Pack. I'm taking home team.
Yeah, what am I saying? Give me the Packers. -7, yeah.
Jets are flying high, and they're just going to fall on their face in Lambeau.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might buy a point there to get the spread down to 6, but I'd take the Packers to win.
Smart call out. I never do that. I should do that. Next game I have here is it's not the last one, but 10 a.m. game, 1 a.m. for you guys. Baltimore at the New York Giants. Giants come in after a big win. They are currently 6-point dogs to the Baltimore Ravens. I do not care. Give me Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens.
The Giants have been surprising the shit out of me this year.
It's going to stop at some point.
I'm with you, but I'm taking Baltimore on this one. I think Baltimore's offense is just too good.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Giants. It's in East Rutherford,
Mhm.
MetLife Stadium. I think the Giants are surprisingly good. Their one loss is a touchdown to the Cowboys, who are proven to be good. I know it's a different week, but I got the Giants at home.
I like it. Be different. I respect it.
I like that pick.
Next game we have is a 10 a.m. for me, 1 a.m. for you guys. It is the Minnesota Vikings versus the Miami Dolphins at Miami. Right now, the Dolphins are coming in as +3 favorites. I think the Dolphins are a little bit too banged up. I know they're starting their third string quarterback. If they start 2, it's a mistake. Give me the Vikings. Justin Jefferson goes off this week,
Especially if Howard's down.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about the cornerback?
Yep, Xavier Howard.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking Minnesota on that one. I think that's an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Give me Minnesota.
Like you said, too banged up.
Too banged up.
Good, but they're too banged up right now.
Yeah, I think Waddle and Tyreek don't play next week. We'll see. Next game.
They've given up 70 points over the past 2 weeks to the Bengals and the Jets.
Yeah, it's a lot.
40 to the Jets. That's incredible.
That is incredible.
Yeah. Cincinnati
Last morning game is San Francisco at Atlanta. Right now, the Falcons are coming in at 6-point dogs. The Niners are the favorites to win this. San Francisco hasn't been looking the best on offense, but that defense is far too good. I'm taking 49ers.
Defense is looking good. Do you know if Cordarrelle Patterson's coming back?
No, he's not coming back. He's out for a few weeks.
He's on the IR, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm taking I'll take San Fran in that one.
Same.
Yeah, I will say I do think Kyle Pitts has his coming out party this week, though. We'll see if Matty Will has him on his bench. I think Kyle Pitts goes off. I think it's been in the media too much that he doesn't get the ball. I think they're going to feed it to him. We'll see. All right, so the first 1 a.m. game for me, 4 p.m. for you guys, is Arizona at Seattle. Right now, the Cardinals are coming in as 3-point favorites. I think this is a trap game. I think the Cardinals aren't that good, and I think the Seahawks are good. I'm taking the Seahawks +3. I think that's an easy bet.
I think the Seahawks are surprising me this year, and I'm with you. I think that's a trap game. Taking the Seahawks.
In Seattle, too.
In Seattle.
I got the Seahawks.
Jerry's taking the Seahawks, too.
Yeah, Jerry's hammering for the Seahawks, so we're going there. Next game we have is a Buffalo versus Kansas City game. This is going to be probably the game of the week, AFC Championship rematch here. Right now, the Bills are coming in as 3-point favorites. Chiefs have +3 right now. I am going with the Buffalo Bills. I think they're the best team in NFL history.
I'm with you. I'm taking the Bills. I'm not with you with the best team in the NFL history, but
I think they're the best team this year.
I just feel like the Chiefs somehow, some way, they always find a way to win games, but like they're just, I don't think they're like that good, but they are.
It's in Kansas City, so take that with a grain of salt. I still got the Bills though. I think they got a chip on their shoulder after losing last year.
Damn good, man.
They lost to Kansas City to go to the Super Bowl, I believe, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Josh Allen's on a revenge tour next week.
Yeah. I have Buffalo winning by double digits.
Okay. You buying some points? All right.
I think,
shit. I just added it to my betting slip. Maybe we'll keep it there. All right. Next, we have the Sunday night game, Dallas versus Philadelphia in Philadelphia. This actually is a pretty interesting game.
Normally,
right?
I would say this game's going to stink, but this year, this is going to be a good game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Dak comes back this week, but I'll tell you this. If Dak does come back, give me the Eagles. If Dak doesn't come back, give me the Eagles. -5, baby. Who you got? I hate the Cowboys so much.
I got Philly for sure. I don't trust the Cowboys. I think they've been impressive. Yeah, give me Philly at home.
You know what? Sunday night, all eyes. Cooper Rush is going to show them what it's all about. I think Philly wins the game, but I think the Cowboys cover.
Okay, King taking Cowboys +5.
Yep. I mean, I got them at 4.5, and I'm still taking that.
All right. This next one might be the easiest bet of the week. The next game is the easiest bet of the week. It is the Denver Broncos at the Los Angeles Chargers. Right now, the Broncos are coming in as 5-point dogs. Chargers are favorites. I'm taking the Chargers every time. I think Russell Wilson is actually hurt now. So in addition to him being bad, he's also hurt. Give me the Chargers. What about you guys?
I'm with you. I got the Chargers on that. But
they get Keenan Allen back this week. They're going to be flying.
I wouldn't be surprised if randomly Denver decides to break out and show you who they really are.
Dude.
Yeah. Are we sure Russell Wilson's not playing, or is he questionable?
He's questionable. So can I ask you guys a question before you make your pick, Tom? I got Russell Wilson on as my starting quarterback right now. Do I risk it, like waiting till Monday night to see if he starts, and if he doesn't, I have to start the backup, whoever that is? Or do I go out and pick up a quarterback and start them on Sunday?
Well, it depends on who you're picking up.
I'm more than likely going to be able to pick up Matthew Stafford. I know I'm ahead of Zach. That's the only person realistically I'd take off the waiver wire. I think I forget who he's playing. Doesn't really matter. I'd probably I'm starting a lot of people over Russell Wilson at this point.
Playing the Panthers. You should
playing the Panthers.
You should take Stafford.
I plan to, but do I risk it? Do I give Russell one more week? Monday night.
You keep him on the bench.
Yeah, I think that's not even a risk if you take like Stafford at home against the Panthers, who just fired their coach and have no quarterback.
Yeah.
for sure start Stafford.
Yeah, their defense too. That's what I was leaning towards.
Wilson on the team, like maybe he does show up, but I think Stafford still has a better game. So
yeah. All right. Well, that does it for this week. Do you gentlemen have anything you'd like to add?
I'm good. I mean, we're almost at the mid-season mark. I think we got some mid-season awards to hand out.
Yeah,
we can if you want, on the next podcast, you can go over the award categories that we plan to hand out after the following week.
Yeah.
But we're almost halfway there. Can you believe it?
Yeah. Well said, Nugget. Definitely not next week, but the week after is going to be mid-season awards. And next week,
after week 7, I believe.
After week 7. Next week we'll have a segment where we talk about things we'd like to change next week or next year. I'm sorry. So if you guys in the group chat want to add anything to that, I think that'd be interesting. I'll try and get both of the commissioners on here next week, yourself and Zach. We'll see if we can make that happen. If not, I think Florida man Matt himself might be on next week talking baseball, baby.
I have one on that vein. I have one last thought, unrelated to football, baseball comment.
Mm-hmm.
If the Yankees win the World Series, I think Aaron Judge might have just had the best season in MLB history, and no one's really talking about it.
I think Barry Bonds is getting slighted. I don't know if that's the word you want to use, but I think Barry Bonds needs more recognition. I agree with you, though. I
think that at the beginning of the season, Tom tried to trade him to me, and I believe to quote myself, I don't want that bum.
You're like,
I said he will not have a healthy season, and he proceeded to go on and in a non-steroid era baseball, he has officially hit the most home runs ever in a season.
Yeah, talking baseball, I love it.
I hear you on Barry Bonds, Austin, but let's do first in home runs, first in RBIs, first in every other category, fifth in RBIs, sneaky 16 stolen bases.
Yeah.
If they win the World Series, probably the best post-steroid era modern year baseball player.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah,
it's amazing. And I do agree with you that he's getting no love because
offensively.
He's getting no love.
He's going to win the Triple Crown.
Anyone watch the playoff? Do we even watch playoff baseball anymore?
I have a guy I work with who's obsessed with the Mariners. So I have no way of not watching it, but we'll see. I'm sure when he gets closer to the World Series, I'll watch more.
Pretty epic comeback they had.
Yeah, for sure.
8 wins. But anyways, that was the last thought I had.
No, thanks. I appreciate it. Well, we're going to get out of here. This has been the Week 5 review. We'll see you guys in Week 6. Have a wonderful Week 6. This has been the Skuchdown Report. Peace.